Hi, everybody. This is Justin back with a weekly update. I'm your aide astrology. Thank you again for tuning in. Gosh, I have to tell you, I haven't felt this good in a while. I'm really feeling this Venus energy. I have 4 planets in Taurus and 3 planets in Libra. So I am a Venus type of guy. It's just nice to get a little bit of break from the chaos because, quite frankly, I think myself and maybe a lot of you kind of white knuckled their way through last week. And my last video was the big squeeze and 3 waves of awakening. And I'll get back to that point momentarily as I feel that I'm going to further emphasize on what I was talking about last week. But I want to start off with some of the good, because this might be the calm before the storm. So what I'm talking about is Venus had a nice trine with Jupiter and Pluto. So just a reminder, Jupiter expands everything it touches. Since it sucks in Capricorn, it gets to a limit. My comparison was like breathing into a balloon until it gets to the point where you can't fill it with any more air, and then there's a little bit of restriction. So you could grow in that sign, but to a degree. It's optimism, it's warmth, it's higher knowledge, faith, higher wisdom, higher learning, long distance travel. And Pluto is, death, sex, taxes, transformation. It's very psychological. It's obsessive. It's jealous. It's possessive. It's control. So there's a little bit of polarity going on with this. But with Jupiter is gonna pull, the stronger aspects of Pluto. But it's gonna happen in like some weird ways. So when you talk about Pluto with Jupiter, it's death and transformation, right? And I'll give you some examples of how Venus is conversation with these planets, how that might look in your life. Obviously, number one, where it's in Capricorn, so it's government and structure. So last week we saw the stimulus package approved on the 27th, which was the trine, which went exact at 10:14 p.m. So I wasn't surprised about seeing that. I have my own stronger views on what that package really means, but I'll leave that for my comments on Robert Phoenix's fan page that I tend to comment on frequently. Let's keep it to astrology, Justin. So honestly, in this scenario, it's luck, it's financial support, good financial outcomes, improved relationships, new opportunities. It is with Venus in Pluto. It's healing some of those deeper, intense thoughts and emotions. It's coming to grips with some of your toxic thoughts. So I'll give you several examples. So I have been going through a grueling home search here in Idaho, which let me just do a sidebar. Nothing seems like it's changed here in Idaho compared to what I'm seeing all over the world. It seems like it's business as usual. But I've been through a really crazy process with my fiance. We actually went through 3 or 4 offers on Friday, and long story short, all of them fell through or got into a crazy bidding war. It just seemed like every time we were excited about something, we just hit a wall. Finally, at about 7 o'clock, we saw a listing, and I actually just put an offer in without seeing it. We met the gentleman in his home at 7:45, and we explained our situation. Sidebar, I've been waiting for this date to put an offer in for probably 6 months now. Because I knew this would be the day for so things to bounce my way financially. And obviously I was waiting to get out of the retrograde period. Anyways, So we met the gentleman. We told him that we've just been having a heck of a time. And he's like, oh, I remember my first home search and I had the same exact experience. We asked him to accept the offer. I gave him exactly what he wanted on his terms. And he amazingly signed the contract, sight unseen. And we went into the loan process and offer. This was at 10 at night. Get this, at 10:14 p.m., my loan offer said, you locked in your rate and you are officially under contract. You can't make this shit up. I swear to God. That is the exact time Venus was touching these planets. So just amazing. So that was some good financial luck. This was all happening in my fourth house of home. Makes a lot of sense. Gave me emotional relief. Venus, fourth house. And to finally know this process was over with. Also, an hour before that, my fiance got a call from a family member that has, had a side hustle, we'll call it, for her, and something that, we'll say that's something that she really likes to do. It's more of a passion, and she's gonna get paid for it. So that really improved her state of being because she's been really struggling since she lost her job. Actually, she worked for a small office of 10 people, and they were all laid off without very little notice. I think they found out on a Wednesday. That Friday was her last day. No severance package, just gone. So that brought some financial opportunity to her and lifted her spirits. I also have a family member that has been working in a certain field of study for 40 years, and she doesn't like it. And I have reason to believe that their company's going to go through a round of downsizing. And since she has so much seniority with the company, she's going to get a very large severance package per her contract. So that would basically be able to pay her full years of her salary. So that's what I really mean about death and transformation. What seems on the surface is something bad because there's loss, Pluto, loss. But what is replaced with it is something better, and it transforms your life. What this person I know will get this settlement, which on the surface, it's a tough thing because she's worked for a company for a very long time, over 20 years, 40 years in the business herself. So it is a death, but it's brought with an opportunity. She can now have a year's worth of salary and become an entrepreneur and do her passion. So, and just like my fiance, she lost her job, but she hated doing what she did. And she gets an opportunity to do something she loves to do. And for me, I've been kind of a nomad. Early on in life, I think both my parents have been married or divorced a combined 9 times. So from early age, I've always been on the run. I don't really know what home is. I don't know what home feels like. And it kind of carried over into my adult years. I just moved to Idaho in January, and this is my 37th move. And mind you, I'm not a military person. So it was almost a little surreal and emotional for me to finally come to grips with being somewhere stationary and to call a home. So that has brought a lot of emotional foundation. Fourth house is also emotional foundation. So this is what I'm seeing for people. So it's kind of on the surface could be difficult, but it seems like it's going to be followed by something very positive. I also did a reading for someone recently that it seemed like she was very close to something, coming to some really good conclusions. And, I think what I found in the chart kind of clarified her and her direction, but also it connected some dots. And, that could be considered good news and get her off on the right track, and she could start moving forward with her dreams, wishes, and desires. So I want to talk a little bit more about this conjunction in general, with taking Venus out of the conversation. So last time we had this exact conjunction was 13 years ago, so 2007. So what we know happened in 2007, we had the great kind of real estate financial collapse. And this, since this is a big transfer of wealth, and it's in Capricorn, so Capricorn is typically government and structure, and we're kind of seeing it again. It is different this year. We're seeing this 3 times in 1 year, which is a little nuts to think about. So we have an extreme distribution of wealth. So what happened in 2007 is the rich got bailed out. They became richer somehow, and the lower and the middle class became more poor. And I don't need to be an astrologer to connect the dots around us right now. If you're not seeing that right now, it's right in our face. And from a shamanic view, we have everything we desire already. We just have to bring it into form. Now, there is polarity to this conjunction because Jupiter is positive, but Pluto also is obsessive. It's jealous. It could cycle through wheels of worry. So here's the important thing about this. What you give energy to grows. When you worry, you suffer twice. And when you worry or in your fear, you pray for what you don't want. So this is where we get into a little bit of law of attraction. And I think in this time, people are going to be further in fear, or they're going to expand their faith. Jupiter, Pluto, fear, Jupiter, faith. Jupiter, optimism, Pluto, fear. What side of this are you going to choose to be on? So this is why I call it the 3 waves of awakening. And this is the first wave. We'll have a second wave in June, third wave in November. So we had some stimulus. We had something good and positive maybe came into our life over the weekend. Jupiter is going to expand our passion of it. So, and we have some challenging news and events coming this week, which could easily put us back into fear. Again, Pluto is creating death in parts of our lives. So we could bring in our true authenticity and our true dreams. The nodes are shifting soon, which is huge. A new destiny is at our doorstep. On the flip side, your mindset could be your biggest weapon, good or bad right now. So let's talk about how to evolve past the heaviness and stand in your power. So with all this little fun and action going on, we also have Uranus square Mars, and Mars is moving into Aquarius, being met instantly by Saturn. So Mars and Aquarius people. Mars is driven by, in this case, it's our will, right? And what motivates us. So Mars is motivated in this place by Aquarius. What's that? The collective, social groups, friendships, Mars and Aquarius people that I know, they have a lot of activism energy, right? They fight for what they feel is right, sometimes in a cavalier way. We also have Sun in Aries in a conjunction with Chiron. That's intense. Mars square Uranus is anxiety, it's anger. When Mars and Saturn are together, Mars gets explosive because it's met with restriction. Mars wants to go where it wants to go when it wants to do it. And we're seeing this in Aquarius. So I feel like with Mars meeting Saturn, it's going to be further suppressed. The squeezing and squeezing gets harder and harder till my knuckles are white. And as a collective, we've been kind of slow played with this restriction. They didn't hit all of this with this glorified house arrest that we're all under. And Mars in Aquarius is big events. It's fighting for a bigger cause. We're already kind of seeing this. I took a walk to the park yesterday, and they had yellow tape over all the swing sets. What's Saturn restriction? I saw some things online where they're yellow taping parts of the stores where you can't buy non-essential items. So if you're stuck at home and you want to play a board game with your family and you can't go out and buy Monopoly, the squeeze is getting a little bit out of control. Mars and Saturn and Aquarius, to me, I feel we will start to see the first drips of civil unrest in this world. Capricorn is the world at large. This will mainly probably affect larger cities, Capricorn. So it's a good time where Venus has come in to our lives to give us the emotional foundation support, because we need this more than ever. Those of you that have the means to leave your home, or at least go into your backyard, and you have somewhat positive weather, connect with the frequency of the land. Dig your heels in. It's called earthing. Lay against a tree. Take a picture of something beautiful. Pull the vibration of Gaia into your root. Envision the roots of a tree wrapping around your legs and your lower torso. Really sink in to the earth. You're never alone with the earth underneath your feet and the stars above your head. On the positive side, Mars in Aquarius is initiation. So many of us might have been, struck with some good news with Venus, and you want to take the next step. For me, I have to go through the approval process, which will be just a bag of laughs. And maybe some of you have been really considering starting a YouTube channel or a Facebook support group. We're talking about Aquarius, remember? Social projects, internet, media, social networks, astrology, marketing. So those of you that have been taking this isolation as opportunity, and this isolation is a gift, to slow down, take away all the distractions of the world, and get deeper with yourself. I've read for some of you lately, and I have actually been reading for a lot of future entrepreneurs. It's really exciting to see. This is the time for initiation. This is the whole reason for the new moon in Aries. You'd finally start moving forward. For me personally, I would hope to grow my channel and my network and really start working with more people. I feel like I have messages for all of you, and this is my passion. And maybe this is the time for me where I could take the next step. I've been, doing more readings. I've been getting more equipment for my channel, trying to find different ways to deliver this information through a very shamanic perspective. So again, for those of you that have been really passionate, because now we have the infusion of Jupiter and Pluto, passion is pumping through your veins, and now you have to do something with it. It's time for action. I've been reading for a lot of people 29 to 32 lately, trying to navigate through their Saturn return. And a lot of earth angels, to be honest with you. And, with this pandemic, we're seeing a lot of the elders leaving this planet. And it's a passing of the torch of Jupiter and Pluto, in my opinion. It's time for people like us to step out of the closet and become the elders. We are the change. Be the change you want to see in the world. A favorite quote of mine is, if you want to predict the future, create it now. It's by Joe Dispenza. Some assistance during this time is Venus is going to be moving into Gemini. I have Venus in Gemini natally. And it's in my 9th house. So I really get really fired up when I get to interact in small groups. Some of the most amazing times I've had in my life is when I took my astrology, my shamanism, and my Reiki education, and I did that all in small groups. And I look really forward to working with everyone. I got a deep connection with everyone. I get fired up and jazzed up for it. I know that's harder to do because of social distancing at that time. But be creative, start creating small support groups on Facebook, through Zoom, get together with your best friends and play a virtual board game. Gemini and Venus is childlike fun. It's playfulness. It's the ability to enjoy teaching and learning. It's the Venus Gemini people require mental stimulation. Recently I've been talking to a lot of my friends, and we have 3-hour phone calls with each other until our batteries die. I can't even tell you the last time I've been able to do that with my friends. So it's been really healing in a lot of ways. One way to eliminate toxic thoughts is to learn something new. So I know a lot of you that are looking to take the next step in your evolution, looking to up your game, become an entrepreneur. Add something to your tool belt. Take a small business class. I have, along with giving readings, I still am getting private tutoring on the side from my mentors. I'm always looking to find new ways to become better than I was the day before. I'm doing some business coaching for some of my astrology clients to help them kind of ignite their next step in their entrepreneur desires and passions. So I noticed online that a lot of online forums and teaching is being discounted right now. So while you're at home, might as well take advantage of it. My fiance is interested in becoming a realtor. So while we're all stuck in our houses, she's looking to taking her her 2-week class. So this is all the stuff preparing you for the nodal return, or not nodal return, the nodal shift in May. So add to your tool belt, strengthen your foundation. What this exact conjunction on the 4th is, it's harnessing and capturing your desires in Pluto and materializing it. It's bring it into form. The purpose of life is to bring who you are on a soul level and bringing it into form, physical. The key to life is just to be who you are. And this is going to give us some emotional discipline with Saturn coming into play. Also, we do have Mercury and Neptune. So in a couple ways, this is really good for increasing your creativity. I would take that conjunction and meet it with Venus and Gemini. If you go out, even if you can't even get out of your backyard, take, my fiance is an Aquarius, and she is going nuts right now, being stuck inside. We're in a new state. She wants to meet new friends and neighbors, and we can't. So it's a really hard time for her. It breaks my heart. And I was talking to a friend on the phone. I looked outside, and I saw her out in the front of our apartment taking pictures of the trees. Also, I want people to remember that the other polarity of Mercury and Neptune is it's lying, it's propaganda, it's the bag over the head, it's fake news. So in these uncertain times, use your intuition to discern what's real. And like I said in previous videos, if you want to learn the truth about any subject matter, even when you work with person one-on-one, you ask truth before the question. Truth. Do these feelings belong to me? And the empathetic feeling that you'll get is light or heavy. Light is truth, heavy is false. Truth. What I'm reading on Facebook, is it real or is it false? Is light or heavy? So, be careful where certain things that might be going on in the world might be presented as good, but it could be seeing things with rose-colored glasses. Be careful of this, of savior mentality. There's a lot of people just not worried about anything happening because they feel that a different presence is going to come and save them from all this. And that could be dangerous. I feel like when you do that, you give it more power. So discern what's going on. This might actually be a pretty nice week to take a social cleanse. Not to say you can't be informed, but on your cell phones, there's like, you could put a limit or settings on how much you use, how much data you use in a day. Maybe this week will be a good week to put, 20 minutes a day on your social media apps. Maybe just take some small doses, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of disruption and unrest. And The reason why some certain forces in this planet have been able to get away with what they've been doing for so long is that they use fear as a form of control. And for everybody, mindset is crucial right now. Again, what you give energy to grows. So are you going to pull towards you your dreams, wishes, and desires? Or are you going to push it away? Are you going to go into faith or fear? Remember, again, when you worry, you pray for what you don't want. And then do me a favor this week. Let's find a way to support each other and raise the awareness for our set intentions. Drop in the comments box what you're trying to seed for the year and what are you trying to put into motion. Because it's very important from a shamanic standpoint. When collective energies congregate, the intention doesn't add, it actually multiplies. So this would be a great forum for all of us to support each other and help us collectively put our intentions into form. So thank you again for tuning in this week. I'm Justin with I'm Your Aid Astrology. I'm not your coach. I'm not your guru or your guide. I am your aid, angel in disguise. I help you, empower you. Thank you.